We're both in red. I love it.
Right? Oh, automatic sisterly coordination. I'm bringing in an orange mug today for Love and Lunch. Bring some energy in because I am in the down. So
Amazing.
Welcome to Love and Lunch, people, lovely people. Do you want to go and introduce yourself, Jo?
Yeah, I would love to. So I'm Jo Cooper. I'm a dating, sex and relationship coach for those of you that don't know me. And then we have the lovely
Joanna Keeble. Boom. I'm Joanna Keeble from BigBeautifulBoundaries.com, coach and founder. Here to talk about love and life and juicy things for 20 minutes. And we got quite a strong commitment after last week to try and keep it to 20 minutes, right?
Yeah, no, I think that kind of, I think that kind of rolls the best. Yeah. Just working out my tech. Amazing. Yeah, this is actually really uncomfortable to do something when we both we're going to get really honest. And I think to come on here and to do a live when, Joanna and I are both in this place of like the down and what it really feels like to show up and to be committed, to doing this when it's just kind of one of those days where I just want to hide under my duvet and not be seen. And there's something about just going just so slow and honoring myself. And I had this experience. I was just like, I must go back and do a yoga class that I'm going to pump around the park and listen to some hardcore techno, really get literally really trying to get me into the groove, but it just didn't work. It really didn't work. And all it was making my body do is almost like get tight and feel more resistant.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, let's just put on some really chilled Indian classical music and I just kind of like take my time around the park and just go super slow. And it's interesting, this place coming into like not just winter in terms of the season, but also in my cycle as well. So I'm about to bleed and just being in that zone of like, oh yeah, my body is actually just naturally wanting to go super slow and trusting
totally
each kind of phase and honoring that. And I actually find with this whole situation that we're in at the moment that I'm becoming more aware. It's hard not to, because there's not many things that are really distracting me from like wanting to look inwards.
Or from feeling the little signs that pop up, the little inner notifications. Nice. You just made me want to check my cycle. I'm like, where am I in my cycle? My phone usually tells me. Let's just quickly look.
Yeah, no, because I have to like unbox stuff. Places. I literally unbox.
So I do. I have it in my diary. I have scheduled like warning time. It's like mindfulness, and then like a week of slowdown. Tell me. You unbook.
Yeah, I unbook and move people around. So like I have the capacity to speak to like, I guess in the space that I'm doing, like I can speak to people in the morning, but in the afternoon, it's kind of a bit of a no-no.
And the other way around, really. Like no one is, if I'm having a duvet day, if I'm having a down day, if my cycle is completely taken over and it's like you're going down, it's like that time when you have to slow down. It's like slow down or things are going to feel really scratchy. And when that's coming up for me, I can't really deal with anyone in the morning at all. Yeah, it's a tough one because like if you're in a full-time job, there's no space for this. You can't really, you have to get creative about how you honor your cycle. And just, it would be really, I would love it if in the world of regular work you could just like have a sign that says just don't even talk to me today. Right? We all have those days.
Yeah, really regularly. You know, I actually just think sometimes it's a bit of a blessing that I live by myself. I literally can choose when I want to interact with people and when. And there's yeah, there's a blessing there.
Yeah,
A massive blessing that I'm deeply grateful for.
feel that.
Yeah, I am. So
I've been thinking about the office a lot because I've done sort of different kinds of admin work. You have too, really, haven't you? You've done plenty of that. I've done a lot of work as a team assistant, personal assistant, executive assistant, virtual assistant, and just thinking about all the places where work doesn't align with human needs, and like I understand productivity is important, right, to a point, but there's a place where we've been kind of running it so that, I don't know, the CEO's preferences are met and not actually paying attention to how to get the best out of people. I think there's a huge overhang from the factory days of just like do it. That actually the same voice that you use to force yourself, like that voice that says I've got to do this now and I've got to, more is better, faster is better, tick things off the list. And it's not actually where we get our best out of ourselves or each other. It's a false economy. It's not actually good for business or life. So
it's not. And I think as humans, I mean, what does that really do to is internally? It actually starts to create disease, a dis-ease within the body.
Yes.
Things begin to manifest. I heard someone speak the other day around that she actually got a skin rash from when she was working at this place before she went self-employed. Totally true story.
Yeah.
And she became allergic to work. And it's a thing that when we're in this
brilliant.
When we're in this place of like doing constantly, I think really what is that doing to us? Like, yeah, they may somehow get stuff done, but on a grand scheme, on the energetic, emotional and mental well-being, it's actually not serving anybody.
For me, it's like, what's the bottom line of what you want? The bottom line is not to send that email. The bottom line is a feeling, right? The bottom line is the reason that we go to work, or the reason that at work we deliver certain things, is because we want to feel good. So I'm working for myself right now, and I still have to do it. I still have to check in and make sure, like, where am I coming from? Am I driving from this old sort of patriarchal way of working that is just about just get it done? Or am I still coming from desire? And I have to feel into that and slow down. Otherwise, I want to give you a really good otherwise. A cautionary tale, if I may launch into this. I don't know if we've covered it on another one. I don't think we have yet. I spent most of my life ignoring my body. Of course I did. I didn't know I was doing it. I just did it because nobody told me not to. Nobody told me to listen to my body. Not in any way that I understood what they meant or knew how to do it. I wasn't really given that. Who's given that at school? We're not told, just check. No, that's all woo-woo, right? So we learn to deliver. We learn to deliver to objectives. And I got really good at that because that's most of the world's definition of success. It's like, have you got XYZ material things in your life? Have you achieved XYZ outcomes? And you end up with this look good life. And it's amazing the number of people that like get to the pinnacle of like fame and fortune and they shout back down the mountain, it's not here, guys. Like, there's nothing up here. I'm going to kill myself. They're like, this is shit. And we just look up the mountain and go, yeah, you would say that. Yeah, you just want to keep it for yourself. And we're all like struggling up this mountain towards nothing, away from ourselves often. It's not that you can't have that, but what I did is just power myself from like sugar and caffeine and adrenaline. I was really good fun to work with. I think that's probably annoying for some people, but I was just buzzing and I was getting shit done. I'd be running or skating the length of the office, media company, right, to go and get the printer working or whatever. I was a problem solving genius, and I carried that energy with me for years and years and years, this way of like always getting things done. And my ego was really powerfully attached to that persona of like, I deliver. I'm like, it's all there.
Yeah.
And then until my life started to go a bit haywire, and I was just so committed to that way of doing things. I think we were talking about adapting the other day, being adaptable. Talked to someone about being adaptable yesterday, and like I was so committed to just doing things that way that even as the shit was hitting the fan, I didn't know how to slow down, and I didn't know how to stop. I didn't know how to listen, and I was going into denial about things that I wanted and needed, and I didn't even see it because I was so used to it. I was just like, you get rid of your desires so fast, you don't even know you've had them. That level of denial.
It brings me on to the point that we were discussing before this about the two sides of the coin being actually the same, being in either deprivation or overconsumption. And there's something that feels really true around how you just describing work life, around getting a kick out of that adrenaline rush, because it's almost like a fight between adrenaline ego. And somehow like it's almost like two racing cars, and then there's something around like the bodily experience and your desire and coming back and almost finding that space of like equilibrium, to being like, oh, do I feel really grounded and present where I am?
Right.
It's just like and it's interesting because like you're now the co-founder of Big Beautiful Boundaries, which is amazing, and it almost feels like you're finding your balance, which is amazing.
Yeah, but I you know, and I hate to sort of, I'm not going to recommend breakdown experiences, but I'm going to say, you know, I recognize what I got there. So there's a couple of, and I mention this really quickly because we're running out low on time. So one thing is, just before I got run over by a delivery van in London, I actually had a moment outside space and time, if you like. That's how it felt, right? So it's like a slow down moment where I saw this van coming towards me, bouncing up and down. So I could tell he was like accelerating to come and teach us a lesson. We couldn't get out of the street. It's like Oxford Street. There was the press of people, and we got confused about the lights because we've been waiting there for so long. And it was like, I think maybe it's, you know. And just before that happened, and I ended up under this man's van from a standing start. He stopped and then he tried to push me out the way and stuff. I felt it. I actually felt how my energy was resonant with this whole experience. And the thought that came up was like, oh, I've done this. Now, I'm not really into the sort of woo-woo side. I try and keep a little piece back because I'm all into existential crisis, right? Who knows anything? But in that moment, it was like, oh, I am not grounded at all. And the other time that came up was I'll just say it very briefly. I managed to sort of ignore myself out of habit for so long until I had a complete mental, emotional, physical breakdown and got hit by this intense chronic fatigue. And I'm going to wrap it up here and just say the reason I'm here in this, and the reason I'm doing this live stream from this really chill place, is because I've kind of worked it out now. I've got to stop pushing. When I push, that's when I feel oppressed by chronic fatigue. It's like it pushes back, like, ugh. And when I just like chill down, it's like thick, rich, warm honey.
That's what I want to be.
Ooh. Come on in. The water's fine.
I am. I can feel it. Literally, I feel like I'm birthing this honey. I am the bee on my honey pot.
Yeah, that's what you need to do. You need to just be.
Bee. I love that.
I am bee.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know too much about bees, but I know a little bit. And there's something about the care that they take over how they make honey.
Mm.
Very kind of like intricate, delicate. No, they're kind of a bit mysterious at the same time, you know. You never know really where they're going, but they go
They
somewhere.
do though, I think.
They do, they must do. I think I want to find out some more info on bees.
Let's do it. Let's talk about that because there's some cool parallels with desire and bees. I'll write it down. I want
Yeah,
to hear about your,
bees and
yeah.
desire, and also like we are in complete parallels with, yeah, with nature
Okay.
and with other things that are going on.
Mm.
You know, it kind of brings me into a video that I did. I'll just speak about it for a minute or so. It's like we are so I'm a bit distracted and I just want to just voice this. Is like on Facebook I look like
Yeah.
I'm frozen, so I don't know if this is going live, but I just hope that it is. Because I can see myself and I'm frozen, but anyway, I'm gonna
Looks
just,
all right to me.
it looks all right to you.
Yeah.
Okay, fabulous. Well, I'm
Thank you for
frozen,
voicing that.
which is great. Um, and it's just like the representation that I had when I was speaking to someone the other day is around like, you know, the trees go through seasons. And when it's time for them to go into autumn, they don't cling on to their leaves or their fruits. They just naturally let go. You see? And it's like, oh, if they have that awareness around like life and seasons, then, and to trust
Trust is a big one.
that it's going to come back, and you know they're going to have leaves and they're going to fruit some of the
Because I
trees.
love to grip, right? It's
Oh
cling
God,
on.
gripping is like, gripping for me is almost like fear.
Yeah.
It's
Oh yeah.
fear, it's the beliefs, it's like almost what we think is safety,
Yes.
but it's not.
No.
And it's and there's just something really beautiful. Like I often just look like I am now, looking outside my window, and I just see this beautiful tree and see the colors and the radiance, and just it kind of just reminds me like I'm accepted for who I am, whatever season, whether I'm actually in a season or my menstrual season, and it's okay just to be who I am. And I think it's like what you were saying about the patriarchal you know, the conditioning of like do and coming from more of like an acceptance, self-acceptance, that
It really is. It's self-worth, isn't it? Because in the patriarchy it's
yeah,
attached to doing,
yes,
and we've got to go and take the nature model and put it back on
yeah,
bees.
yeah, let's all be strong beautiful trees.
Do you want to say something about your book? You mentioned a book and it's so interesting.
Look,
Yeah, you're reading a book this morning.
I am reading about a book. I don't think I want to share about the book
Oh, okay.
today.
All right.
I know.
All right.
Yeah, I don't want to share about the book today, but I am reading this really fascinating book around, I mean, the bulk of it is around deep surrender, trusting and transmuting fear into faith, and just having faith that things are going to start to work. And you know, that higher power, our intuition, like when we slow down and listen, that we can be guided by that instead of coming from our heads, and coming from more of a embodied, bodily sensation base, and seeing how, yeah, and how we kind of just show up for ourselves, show up for other people around us. And it's made such a difference. Even a couple of phone calls I had over the weekend, and not being attached to an expectation, but coming from a place of service, it just transformed the conversations completely.
So good. I had that last night.
Okay, so it's 20 minutes, so I would love us to wrap up. Yeah, really
Yeah.
juicy actually. So next week we can speak about bees. Obviously, I've not been able to see anybody, unfortunately. If anybody has commented or wanted to ask us a question on Facebook, but you can always, oh, I think
Hey,
Louisa is
Louisa.
there. Yeah, we
Yeah.
can see you, no problem. Okay, thank goodness. I'm not too sure why that's happened.
So I feel like, I just want to say before we wrap up, I mean, obviously we'll go with the flow because that's what we do, but it feels like there might be some more to say on this.
Some more to say on what, honey?
On the slowdown or on being present with yourself. There's something there, like next time.
Yeah, I
Something
think
about
so. I mean, it's a
bees.
huge subject. I'm
Yeah.
just looking and seeing if yeah, so when we win, okay, I'm going to just land on this one point. I'm going to take up an extra minute here. But when we
Alright.
win in life, I was writing some notes beforehand. It's like we actively seek a new way of living, being, thinking, being willing to change a behavior and a new way of relating. And then my question was, because when we make these shifts, it's like, are you willing to go through the pain to change? Because whenever there's this transition, there's always a discomfort and a pain that we have to go through so we can win. So I'm going to leave it there for everybody. Let's just wrap up.
Yep.
So if anybody's interested in coming over to my Facebook group, I'm going to be hosting a masterclass on the 14th of October, which is a week on Wednesday. So I'll give you more information on that. I don't want to overload you here. If you're interested, then send me a DM and I'd love to stay connected to you. And Joanna, is there anything that you want to?
I'm Joanna Kubel. Woohoo! If you want to know what I'm about, you can come over to my Facebook page, send me a friend request, or take a look at bigbeautifulboundaries.com to check out my new online boundaries course. It's pretty nice. It's a pretty site.
I've had a peek view.
Yeah. That's it.
Oh, delicious. And I'm going to go make myself a hot chocolate and read more of my book because that's the kind of day I want.
I'm going to have a day of tying up loose ends. I'm going to start with my accounting. I know that's a weird one, but it feels like I've got a duvet right here on my chair.
Okay.
Just like this, I've got my coffee and then tying up loose ends feels like the stroke for me.
Okay,
It's
beautiful. I love that. Okay, everyone. So we're going to love you and leave you. Lots of kisses and we will and hearts. Yeah, I feel like I can do that one.
And
we will see you all soon.
Next time, next week.
Yeah,
this
next
time.
week. And let me know if you've got any questions. Let us know. Yeah.